Good day, everybody, and welcome to our last webinar for the IUFRO series. While everybody's logging in and getting comfortable, we are going to just play a 5-minute introduction to IUFRO. So this is a video that was prepared by Todd, and we will let that run for the next 5 minutes, and then we'll start with the series. Thank you, everyone.
Hello. My name is Todd Ramsfield, and I'm the coordinator of IUFRO Division 7 Forest Health. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this webinar series. Before we begin the webinar, I'd like to take a few minutes to introduce IUFRO and to let you know how you can become involved. IUFRO is a global, non-profit, non-governmental, and non-discriminatory scientific organization that has been operating for over 125 years. There are approximately 600 member organizations spread across over 120 countries, and more than 15,000 forest scientists participate within IUFRO. IUFRO is open to all individuals and organizations that conduct research on forests or forest products. One of the primary activities of IUFRO is to promote networking and knowledge exchange in order to provide science-based solutions to global forest challenges. IUFRO is composed of 9 divisions that cover research on all aspects of forest science, including silviculture, physiology and genetics, forest operations, forest assessment, forest products, social aspects of forestry, forest health, forest environment, and forest policy and economics. Specific subject areas within divisions are captured within research groups. For example, within Division 7, we have 2 research groups, forest pathology and forest entomology. Research groups each contain working parties that are focused on more specific subject matter. Another major component of IUFRO structure is task forces. Task forces are temporary and composed of interdisciplinary teams that are focused on specific emerging topics. This slide shows the composition of Division 7. As you can see, there are 2 research groups, forest pathology and forest entomology. Within these research groups, there are 11 and 14 working parties respectively. The working parties include research on all aspects of forest health. It's often said that working parties are the active heart of IUFRO, as these groups get together regularly for meetings focused on their areas of study, and you can see some photos at the bottom of the screen from pre-COVID working party meetings. Due to the global pandemic, we have had to postpone in-person meetings, but it is very important that networking and communications are maintained. Therefore, we have transitioned to online meetings and webinars. These meetings have lowered the barriers to participation in working party activities and will hopefully open the doors for more researchers. The current webinar series will take place over October, November, and December, with a webinar every other Wednesday beginning on October the 13th. As you can see, the webinars in this series are intended to be of broad interest to all researchers within Division 7. Note that the start time for each webinar will vary to accommodate the arrangers and speakers, but they will all be recorded and uploaded to YouTube for future reference. This is the 3rd series of webinars, and 2 other series have already taken place. The first occurred from September to November 2020, and the second from January to April 2021. The webinars have already been uploaded to YouTube, so you can go there to watch them if you are interested. We are hoping that a reduction in COVID will allow in-person meetings again in the near future, and 2 of the upcoming events that we want to bring to your attention are the All Division 7 meeting in Lisbon, Portugal in September 2022, as well as the Russian Regional Congress later in September of 2022. Further information for these conferences can be found on the IUFRO website or the websites of the meetings themselves. Finally, IUFRO is open to everyone involved in forest research. If your institution is a member, you are automatically an IUFRO member. For example, graduate students that are studying at a university that is affiliated with IUFRO are able to participate as full IUFRO members. In my experience, IUFRO is very welcoming, and hopefully you will be able to participate. Feel free to reach out to me. My email address is on this slide, or any member of the coordination team. We are easy to find on the IUFRO website as well, and happy to chat. Thanks, and enjoy the webinar.
Okay, thank you. Hello everyone. I'm Spheria Rabies from Universitas Gadjah Mada, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Welcome to the Division 7 Forest Health webinar. Before I go to the specific topic, so I would like to thanks to our technical support, Geraldine and Philip Baroki. Thanks for them. And then our specific webinar and this today is we would like to updating information on forest diseases and insect pests in the tropics. This will be shared on 4 countries. Also, the organizer is I myself, Spheria Rabies, and also Carlos from Smurfit Kappa and Paul Bosu from Forestry Research Institute of Ghana. So our specific webinar is 7 to 7. So the speaker will be Carlos Rodas from Colombia. He will talk about the current status of forest insect pests and diseases and their control in Colombia. And then after that, Dr. Abdul Ghaffar and Dr. Nur Farika Haneda from Indonesia, and they will present on forest disease information in Indonesia. And then the next is Professor Pham Quang Tu from Vietnam. We will discuss on new and emerging threats of insect pests and diseases to forest plantation in Vietnam. And finally, we have Dr. Arthur Chung and Dr. Muhammad Farid Ahmad from Malaysia. And they will talk about the forest pest insect and also forest plantation diseases update in Malaysia. Please, for the first presenter, please, Dr. Carlos, to present your talk.
Thank you very much, Sil. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. And now is 1:10 in the morning here in Colombia. And first of all, I would like to thank all organizers for the support people and Fabi for making possible the present webinar. My talk is the current status of forest insect pests and diseases and their control in Colombia. Colombia covers an area of 114 million hectares. Of this area, natural forests cover an estimate of 60 million hectares, and approximately 24.8 million is considered as forestry land suitable for commercial plantation. But in contrast, we have only 531,000 hectares planted with different species of introduced species, non-native species, and native species. And for eucalyptus, we have 110.6 thousand hectares. For pinus, 175.2 thousand, and for other species, including native and non-native species, we have 237.3 thousand hectares. Since 1950s, several groups of insects have been affecting plantation and have been reported causing damage on forest plantation. These include defoliated insects represented by the orders Lepidoptera, Phasmatodea, Hymenoptera, Coleoptera, and border insects, Coleoptera and Lepidoptera, and for sucking insects, Thysanoptera, Hymiptera, and Acari. And just for roots insects, the Coleoptera order is the main group of insects. Now, the main native group of insect pests that affect plantation in Colombia are composed by 3 important groups: stick insects, Phasmide or Phasmatodea phasmide, Lepidoptera geometrid larvae, and leaf-carrying ants. From this group of insects, you can see here in the information that I am going to show you from here, we provide an overview and historical background of the main pests and diseases on commercial propagate non-native trees, especially pinus and eucalyptus, in the company Smurfit Kappa. Since 1990 to the date, this is the record or reported area by year for phasmidos or stick insects in our company, and for Lepidoptera, same geometry is reported by the number of reports and the total area per year. And this is the one of the papers that we publish with this kind of insects. This is a very new biological invasion. Monalonium velesangeli is an Hemiptera reported in Colombia in 2006. And from that, he is affecting many crops, also eucalyptus plantation. You can see the number of reports that we have in each year and the number of hectares affected by this insect. This is a sucking insect. This is the paper or the publication about this insect, including with other 2 new insects. New introduction, talking about new introduction of insect pests, we have Pineus borneri reported by first time in Colombia in Pinus patula tecumani, Pinus cassia, and Maximinoi in 2008. Then we have in 2009 Glycaspis brimblecombe, Hemiptera silide, affecting E. grandis, E. eurograndis, E. camaldulensis, E. trichicornis. And just more recently, we have Gonycterus platensis, Coleoptera corculionide, reported in 2016. This insect have not been detected in our company, but we know that it is in some geographic areas in Colombia. And this is the report, the number of reports per year in the affected, infested area by Pineus borneri from the 2008 to 2021. And for Glycaspis brimblecombe is saying, you can see here the reported area per year in the number of reports. Also, the publication of Pineus borneri with this report. Now, in terms of integrated pest management, we are using different strategies with emphasis in biological control. For this biological strain, like adults, we apply light traps for population concentration. For eggs, we use, we release egg parasitoids. And for larvae and pupae, and for larvae and pupae, we normally use biological control and microbial control using Bacillus thuringiensis, some bears, and many different parasitoids, larvae parasitoids. And also for microbial control, we are using entomopathogenic fungi like Boveria bassiana. Now, talking about the disease in Pinus and eucalyptus, we have some important disease, Cylindrocladion spatulatum, for leaf disease in eucalyptus, Austropucinia teratospaeria, Pantoea, Coniella, Aulografina. And for vascular disease, Chrysoport is so important, Spheria, Ceratocystis, and Botrytis. And for needle diseases in Pinus, Dotrystroma sectosporum, Mycosparella, Lecanosticta, and Diplodia sapinea. In vascular disease in Pinus, Fusarium cincinatum, Calonectia brachiata, Brassicae, and Brastonia solanacearum. Now, this is a report area in our company from 1992 to 2021. For Pinus, you can see the total reported area through this period of years and the main diseases affecting our Pinus plantation of pine. And for eucalyptus, you can see the total area reported with this kind of diseases on eucalyptus. And just to show you some of the important fungi and diseases affecting Pinus, Fusarium cincinatum was reported in Colombia in nurseries in 2005, and then it was until 2017 that it was reported in field with symptoms like you are seeing here in nursery. This is the common symptoms, and this is the publication that we did about Fusarium cincinatum in Colombia. Now, the myrtle rose caused by Austropucinia sedi, this fungi was reported in Colombia in 1935, but only until 2010 it was reported affecting different species of eucalyptus. This is a coincidence with other countries that in the same year, 2010 and 2011, this disease appeared as important in many myrtaceae. Here you can see E. grandis, and down you can see E. Corymbia citriodora. This is the heat map in which we locate the focus of this disease in our company. In red, you can see the more severity affected area for the disease. This is the number of hectares affected in each year and the number of reports and the publication about this disease. Now, talking about the vascular diseases, Ceratocystis neglecta has been found in Colombia, but no affecting plantation directly. We found and isolate from different crops like coffee and eucalyptus. Also, when you make bones, you can isolate, and we are testing this disease in different plant material. And this is the publication that we did about Ceratocystis neglecta in Colombia. Other important diseases in eucalyptus is regarding Spheria Rabies. You can see the symptoms here. This is a vascular and leaf disease. This is the heat map, and you can see the distribution of the disease in all areas that we are planting eucalyptus. In the red is the more severity affection for this disease. And you can see also the reported area from 1998 to 2021, the number of reports per year, and the publication that we did with this disease. Now, Dotrystroma sectosporum, the red band needle blight caused by Dotrystroma sectosporum, you can see some of the symptoms of this disease. It was reported in Colombia in 2008, and is affecting lobe elevation, Tecurumani, and Quesia or Carpa, Pinus in Colombia. This is distribution the heat map of distribution of the disease in Colombia in the more important areas with severity by disease. This is reported the number of hectares affected through the years from 2008 to 2021 and the number of reports per year. And this is the publication that we did with this disease in Colombia. Now, Diplodia sapinea is another important disease. It was reported for the first time in 2008. In 1984, by first time, the second report, important report in all country was in 2004. And then now in 2020, from 2020 to now, is increasing the area affected by this important disease. This is the distribution, the heat map or distribution of Diplodia sapinea. This is the graphic showing the reports per year of the disease through the years and the number of the report. Now, what we are doing with management, diseases management. Normally, we are doing permanently survey and sampling of our plantation, then isolation, purification, and diagnostic of the disease, and morphological and molecular identification. Then we have a fungi culture storage in freezer and minus 86 degrees Celsius. Then we are doing pathogenicity tests in greenhouse to select the more aggressive isolate of the different fungi, and screening in fields to understand susceptibility and tolerance of the different species to the disease. That information plus the forest information system information plus the genetic trials, we take what is the suitable decision to understand what is the best plant material for planting. Just in terms of to understand how is the movement of these pests and diseases through the years. You can see here that from the 1990 to the 2020, this is the record or reports per year in hectares affected by diseases, by insect, I'm sorry, and the insect incidence percentage, that is the result of comparing the affected area in each year for the total planted area. It gives us a percentage incidence of the disease per year. But having an average of 33 years, we have only 0.9% of infestation by insect in our company. It's important to mention that we have 42,000 planted hectares, and this is the record of the average from the insects in our company. And for disease, we are having 1.6% of incidence per year, but this is the average, same as in the insects. Is the average of the period from 1990 to 2020. This is very low incidence of pests and diseases in our company. I would like to show you how is the forest health protection program and the summary of this program that has been operating since 1990. we have some different components here. Training is for us crucial for this program. And we are spending every year time for training people, training through field trips, training courses, and handouts and publication. Now that the people have that information, we are doing permanent surveillance, monitoring, and early detection of different events that happen in our plantation. All that information that is recorded every 3 months with 4 periods per year, we produce this report, and this report has been validated and diagnosed by our technicians. Then they, after validate this information, they are going to the forest information system to administrate the information. And for that information, we decide to apply integrate pest and diseases management in our program. This is just a summary of our program. This is my presentation. I would like to thank you to Smurfit Kappa, the company in which this program has been established since 1990s, how I mentioned before. And I would like to thank the Forest Health Protection team at Smurfit Kappa. These people are crucial in this program. It's so important, the work that they are doing. Fabi, with all the Fabians and all the colleagues and all people involved in our program, TPCP members and the University of Pretoria and IUFRO. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. So for the next presenter is Dr. Abdul Ghaffar.
Okay, first I would like to thank the organizers for this opportunity of sharing our presentation. The second one, I would also like to thank the Sinarmas and you had, which happens to be co-author of Richard, So this afternoon of this morning, we would like to share. Yeah. So this is the overview. I will start with the introduction and then continue with the economically important diseases. We will discuss 3 different diseases: Cerato's wilt, root rot, and bacterial wilt, and then recently emerging diseases. Well, not emerging diseases, but recently becoming important: eucalyptus scab, and bacterial blight. And then the last one will be other diseases, which will be mentioned briefly. This is the land areas of plantation forest in Indonesia. That's a glimpse of the plantation forest. In 2018, the plantation forest in Indonesia covered an area of more than 8 million hectares scattered within the country, but mostly in the Sumatra and Kalimantan Islands. Next, please. And this is the plot production. Again, this is the okay. This is now we are coming to the economically important diseases. The first one is Cerato's wilt. These are the symptoms, signs, the pathogen, and the management. Symptoms include discoloration and cankers, foam and gummosis often emerge from the lesion. Perithecea and ascospores may be produced, and the species of the pathogen has been identified as the Ceratocystis magnificans. and the management of the disease with silvicultural, genetic, and biological methods. Next one, please. I'm just showing an example here of the screening for diseases done. There has been suggestion that this screening should be done to the young parents of what more or less 1 year old, but this is only showing that variation and resistance of Akasamija families is observed. As you may have been aware that this ceratosis is the main reason, if not the only reason, for the companies to stop planting Akasamija. Fortunately, the other important species of trees like eucalyptus and Acacia crascata are less susceptible to the pathogen. Next, please. Now, the root rot. I'm focusing on red root rot caused by Ganoderma. Next one, please. Next. Yeah. These are the symptoms and signs on Akasamija, Acacia crassicata, Acacia auriculiformis, and eucalyptus. Symptoms include yellowing wilting, and infected roots are covered by reddish brown mycelia. Fruiting bodies may or may not be formed, and the disease progress is slow, but every infected plant will finally die. Next, please. These four different works came to the conclusion that the dominant pathogen of red rot disease in transplantation in Indonesia is Ganoderma philippi. There were different species reported to be the causal pathogen of the disease. The losses caused by the disease, which was up to 40% in Malaysia in 14-year-old plantation. Next, please. And this is one of the control strategies using the screening for resistance. This screening system was developed in Indonesia and it worked in nursery. Next, please. Yeah, and this is biocontrol measures using Trichoderma, Endophilic Trichoderma, Calabiopsis, Serena, and some other wild rot fungi. Next, please. And some other strategies for field management of the disease included the stump treatment, natural recognition, the stamping, and alternative species. That was for Ganoderma. The next one is next, please. Bacterial wilt, I think. Yeah. Okay, next. This is the symptom, the sign, and pathogen and epidemiology. Symptoms include leaf yellowing, wilting, and branch or plant death. The pathogen has been confirmed by Dr. Bayu Senegal as Ralstonia pseudosolanacearum. The disease outbreak in 2010, 2011 caused an estimated loss of 16 billion rupiah, which is about more than $1 million US. Simultaneously, soil properties do not seem to affect disease incident, but rainfall does. Silvicultural variables of plant age, clone, and root malformation are significantly affect our associated with the disease incident in plantation. Next one, please. Okay, so on your left is the screening procedure for disease management developed also by Dr. Spheria. Yeah? And on the right is the application of biocontrols using microbial consortium. I think it was for the economically important diseases. The next one will be the newly emerging diseases. The first one, yes, eucalyptus cat. Next, please. Yeah. This is actually not new disease as mentioned by Pam at all. The first symptom appeared in 2014. So it took us like 7 years to understand the disease. I was in the organization in 2014, and we had no idea what that was, what caused the abnormality. We thought it was abiotic factors like herbicide, fertilizer, and things, because there was no pathogen identified or isolated from the infected thing. But now it is clear that the problem is caused by fungal pathogen called L-Cino-decadric. So this information is solely based on the publication by PAM in 2021. Okay, next. The next one is bacterial blight. This is also not new, but its incidence has been increasing lately, especially this year. I don't know whether it's temporary or due to some changes in the environment, so the disease is occurring in more and higher frequency. But variation of resistance among planted clones is obvious. Early growth of infected plants may be severely slowed down, and the suggested recommendation include the use of healthy seedling and so the booster fertilization, additional fertilization to boost the growth of the retarded plant. I think that was for the newly emerging disease. The last one will be some other diseases, which due to the limited time, we cannot present in this opportunity. Okay, next, please. Yeah, okay. Yeah, again. Next, again. Yeah, this is eucalyptus on eucalyptus, cylindropladium blight, also on eucalyptus. Destructans blight on eucalypt, phyllotrust, and this is on Akasamija, Telocauda, but it has unique name. And also Fusarium can be on Maya or Crassicarpa, and last one was oral blight, which is on Acacia crassicarpa. I think that was all our presentation for this opportunity. We thank the organization for the sharing opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sri Rahayu. Good day for everybody. Thank you for the time. I will introduce pests on eucalyptus species that plant as a forest plantation in Indonesia. There are 4 potential pests. First is Neusera species, leaf roller, Helopeltis, Microcerodermus species. I will show you one by one. Neusera sp for the taxonomy belong to Lepidoptera order family Coccidae. This species is a very potential pest in eucalyptus plantation. Actually, this insect has many host plant like guavas, Virginia macrophylla, eucalyptus, cacao, coffee, and tea. The damage can see the larva will born is considered as a stem borer, and finally the tree will broken stem. This one life cycle of Spheria. The dangerous one is in the larvae. Okay, the second one is leaf roller. Leaf roller is a Strepsiprates species, belong to Leptodera. The family is Tortricidae. The status of pest is minor, potential to medium. The damage leaf roller attack the young leaf. The young leaf make the roller and then become grown and dead. Some cases in this insect affect the tree growth at the early stage with the intensity almost 100%. I will show you the life cycle. So you can see the image of the eucalyptus tree. The leaf become whole because the larvae make a roll. The second one and the third one is the eucalyptus species. Taxonomy belong to Lemniferan bug. We call it myric bug. This bug also has a lot of hosts, considered as a polypunctus species. The name and the adult will feed the new shoot and the young leaf. So the young leaf become necrosis where they can the shoot will be. This one a life cycle of infants. The complete life cycle around 1 month. And the last one is before the last one, I will show you the initial image of the plants. And finally, if there is a heavy damage, so the plant become dwarf and not grow properly. And the last one is a Microcerathermus species. Microcerathermus species belong to Isoptera, family of Termitidae. The host plant also many, not only the eucalyptus. And the Microcerathermus attack the tree, the eucalyptus tree, slow but sure, and finally the tree become dry and dead. You can see the Microcerathermus. Microcerathermus is a social insect, so they work together, make a nest. So you can see the soldier, worker, and they has a secondary queen, not only primary, but there is a secondary queen. So you can see the damage of eucalyptus tree because of the Microcerathermus. In conclusion, insect pests in the tropical forest have several kinds of potential pests. Consists of Spheria species, leaf roller, yellow belted species, and Microcerathermus species. This one is particularly in eucalyptus tree. Status of this pest depend on the location of the forest and the condition of the environment. And the status of pest could be changed from minor pest to the major pest. I think it's all my presentation. Thank you. Thank you, Irene.
Okay, the next presenter is Professor Pham Quang Tu, please.
Today, I would like to share with you our research with the title Forest Pest and Disease Information Update in Vietnam. My presentation including 4 parts as the fellow forest plantation in Vietnam. Short review of insect pests and disease of economic plantations in Vietnam. The forest pest and disease information update in Vietnam in 2020. Discussion and conclusion. The first, the forest plantation in Vietnam. At the moment, 2020, the total forest area is 4.4 million hectares of the forest plantation. Acacia eucalyptus species is the main planting species for economic plantation, approximately 2.5 million hectares. The main species are now is Acacia hybrid, Eucalyptus hybrid, Acacia mangum, and Acacia auriculiformis. And insect pests and disease as a being challenged to do the afforestation in Vietnam. Here some picture to show you. Here the Vietnam is the leading exporter of the wood and wood product in the world. Mainly the material for the wood product come from the plantation, not come from the natural forest. So that's the economic plantation contribute to economic to Vietnam. Now I talk to short review about the insect pests and disease of economic plantation. Main important insect pest damage acacia including Ericaea pertendens, leaf-eating caterpillar damage acacia plantation in many ecological zones. The second one is the Phalaria grotoi. Leaf-eating caterpillar causes serious damage to acacia plantation in central Vietnam. Now expand to others. The third one is the Bacteroma blasioflap, is a backworm, so the local damage to acacia plantation. Here is a big picture of the Ericaea pertendens. It makes the outbreak of the Acacia auriculiformis in Vietnam. At first in center of Vietnam, now expand to many locations in Vietnam. The potential insect pest damage to acacia including is the Coptotegmet, Formosanus, Glyntotapa africana, Helopantid spp, especially Helopantid theivora, like Indonesia. Hippomesis, the squamous shoots, and the termite Macrotegmes, and Macrotegmet pakistanicus, and Spidodonia rotota, Sinosilum annale, Bacillus root grassiculus. Here's a picture of the Ambrosia beetle, Psilocybe root grassiculus, is the potential insect pest attacks the economic plantation in Vietnam. Now I talk about the important insect pest damage eucalyptus plantation, including Aristobia tetudo, Longhorn Beetle, damage locally eucalyptus plantation. The second one is the Aristobia approximata, Longhorn Beetle damage locally eucalyptus plantation. Is a loop insect is the Biston subspecies T. lupadiamis locally susceptible eucalypt clones. And Leptospecies invasa is a go-wap causing serious impact to susceptible eucalyptus clone and Eucalyptus camandulensis. Another one is Spheria Rabies, is Longhorn Beetle, diamid locally susceptible eucalyptus clone, especially sick clone. Here, the picture of the Wowap and Longhorn Beetle attack eucalyptus in Vietnam. The main potential insect associated with eucalypt, including Cototepmet formosanus, Gentotanpa africana, Holochichia chophora, Hippomyces squamosus, Macrotechmet spp, Macrotechmet pakistanicus. Now, the main important disease damage acacia including Coctidium salmonicalor, pink disease, damage serious acacia plantation in high rainfall area. Spheria spp, steam canker, and ceratocystis manzinican been causing damage in some location. It's 10 years ago, ceratocystis manzinican just found in Vietnam, just damage some location in Vietnam only. About the main minor and potential disease associated with acacia, including Lasiodiplodia, Macrovansaria, Natrasaria, Phelinutin Rilus, and some heart rot fungi, and Phytophthora cinnamomai, Pythium vaccine is the potential. And the main important disease damage eucalyptus, including Cylindrocarium or Calonexia spp, leaf blight disease, Cryptosporiosis eucalypti, leaf spot disease, Teratosferia destructans leaf blight disease is the three main pathogens causing to the serious problem for eucalyptus in Vietnam. Some potential is the Pseudocercosporium Petalotiopsis, the Teratosferia epicocoides, Quamlabaria eucalypti, Ranstonia solanacearum, Spheria, Coctidium salmonicalor, and Chrysobacter cubensis, Teratosferia zulensis, and Phytophthora sp is a minor or potential disease to eucalypt. Now, I talk about the update information about the pest and disease in Vietnam. Up till now, 2020, the forest plantation in Vietnam area is 4.4 million hectares. Is a very fast increasing. Insect pest and disease belong to Coleoptera. Is a very important insect pest to belong to Coleoptera. Is the Longhorn Beetle is the Bactocera lineolata, damid eucalyptus hybrid in some main area. Another polyphagus shooter border is the Herbalaceae fornicatus, damid acacia hybrid, Acacia mangium, Acacia auriculiformis, Simanomum cassia. Another beetle is Licaria westermanni. The beetle is leaf of the native tree is Fernando brillati. Another beetle, another longhorn beetle is the Tabinolachus Lacodare longhorn beetle, diamid Chucrasia tabularis. Chucrasia tabularis is a native species in Vietnam. Another beetle is a Sileborus perforans, Ambrosia beetle, diamid eucalyptus hybrid. And longhorn beetle is the Citrosera festiva, Demis Acacia manjum. Here's a picture of some longhorn beetle. Is the Bactocera lineolata at Demit eucalypt, Tabino Chnut Laco Darai at Demit Chucrasia tabulacis, and Citrosera festiva, Demit Acacia manjum. And some beetle is Ovalaci fognicatud and Silebarut perfocran. Ovalaci fognicatud, there are many species, plant species in Vietnam. Silebarut perfocran attack some plantation, eucalypt plantation in Vietnam. So the insect pet belong to Hemiptera. First, sap-sucking insect emit young leaf, shoot, Acacia hybris, Acacia manjum auriculiformis, and Simamum cassia is Aula caspis tubercularis, is the sap-sucking insect. The second one is Helopentid teivora, mosquito bug, emit young leaf, shoot, Acacia SPP, Asca species, Melaleuca species, and Simamum cassia. Here's a picture of Aula caspid tubercularis attack Simamum, and Helopentid teivora also damage the many tree species. Now the important insect belong to Lepidoptera. The first species is Anteres friti, lip-eating caterpillar. There is the Dipterocaput alatut and Hopera odorata. The second one is the Atrochista hilarialis and Mojura brosis, caterpillar of the two species. They emit leaves of the Neolamacia Camdaba Nucleo orientalis. The third one is Ateva fabriciella, caterpillar emit leaf of the island tooth tree fisa. The loop insect is the Grandmanda semi-hyalina caterpillar, emit leaf of the Simamum cassia. Here some insect, important insect belong to Lepidoptera is Anterera friti, Astochita hilarialis, Morusa brosis, Ateva fabriciella, Gramanda semi-hyalin. The insect belong to Octoptera. I talk about the Hiago is a grasshopper. They emit leaf of the Dendroclamut bakbatut and Dendroclamut latiforus. This grasshopper they emit many species in agriculture field. Now this insect change to damage the bamboo trees. Now I talk about the important in disease belong to fungi and Oomycetes. The first I would like to say Ceratocystis manzinacan. As the first early slide, I talked to you Ceratocystis manzinacan can found in Vietnam in 2010. Now go to serious problem to acacia plantation and Chucrasia tabularis plantation, Tanbeckia tomkinensis plantation, Eucalyptus camandulensis, and Eucalyptus urophylla plantation. From 2010, only found in acacia, but now we can find many species, including exotic and native species. The second one of the fungi is the Fusarium solani. The pathogen kills shoot and root rot of Dendrocalamus latifolius. The third one, I talk about the Phytophthora acaciifera. Is a pathogen causing root rot and dieback of acacia seedling. This is a pathogen we found very early this year. Here, the picture about the Ceratocystis manginicans causing problem to acacia plantation in Vietnam. Here, the Fusarium solani go to root rot and shoot rot of the bamboo. Now I talk about the discussion and conclusion. About the 10 years of field surveys in 8 geographic forest region of Vietnam, and we presented of the 0.5 million hectare of native and 2.5 million hectare of exotic tree species plantation. We found 14 species of insect and 3 species of plant pathogen were recognized as a new and emerging threat to forestry sector in Vietnam. Sap-sucking insect Aulacapris tubercularis and polyphagous shooter borer Ovalaceae fumigatus had rapidly expanded. Ceratocystis manginicans is of the greatest concern due to its increase in geographical range to speed from acacia and eucalyptus to native to Crassula tabularis and Tanvesia tumcinis. Ceratocystis manginicans was the first described in mangrove in Oman and Pakistan. Since then, it has become very invasive in acacia plantation across the Southeast Asia. High mortality of acacia plantation in Sumatra led to their replacement with Eucalyptus benlita. Bactocera lineolata is the Longhorn Beetle is the best in the forest plantation in South China, distributed in India and Europe, and Tabinolacinus lacodaris distributed in Indochina and Borneo. Now all these species become to invasive species, invasive alien species. Some of the new plantation forest pests in Vietnam are the well-known damage agriculture and horticultural crop. For example, is the white mango scale, Aulacaspis tubercularis, global damage to fruit tree, and Helopanthes theivora damage in cacao in Malaysia, in Camellia sinensis plantation in India, in Vietnam. Now, Hierographus tumcinis is a grasshopper who recorded damage field crop in many locations. Thank you. I finished my presentation. Thank you for the attention.
Okay, thank you, Professor Kang. So the next speaker will be Dr. Arthur from Malaysia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rahayu. So let me share my screen first. Right. Good day to everyone. I hope you all can hear me. The presentation from Malaysia is divided into 2 parts. The first is on insect pests that was prepared by myself and Ong Su Ping of FRIM. And then the second part will be delivered by Dr. Farid Ahmad, who will be talking about diseases. Right, ladies and gentlemen, like many other tropical countries, Malaysia is relying on forest plantation as an alternative source of timber. And forest plantations, as you all know, are monoculture, hence are not spared from insect pest attack, which is one of the many challenges in the management of forest plantations. And to date, there are some 1 million hectares of forest plantations in Malaysia, with Sarawak covering 52%, Sabah 36%, and Peninsular Malaysia 12%. Rubber is the most planted species in Peninsular Malaysia and Sabah, while in Sarawak it is the acacia species, mostly Acacia mangium. Other plantation species in Malaysia include eucalyptus, especially Pelita, Fagoteria malucana, Neolamakia cadamba, and Tectona grandis. Right, now let me have this opportunity to share with you some of the recent major insect pests of forest plantations in Malaysia. We start off with Acacia mangium. Some 112 species were documented based on Ong and Chung 2020. This is actually based on the host pest list of the forest plantation species in Malaysia. And the field cricket, Nicitrus vittatus, is one of the main pests in nursery and newly planted seedlings in the field, while subterranean termites of the genus Coptotermis attack basal trunks and killing some of the trees. For Fagoteria malucana or batai, the major insect pests include the yellow butterflies, which are serious defoliators, especially from the species Urema hecabe and Urema blanda. And the stem borer, Zystrostera globosa, or known as the two-line Albizia longhorn beetle, has caused considerable damage to some of the trees. Neolamakia cadamba, locally known as Laran or Kelampayan, the Laran skeletonizer, Atrochista hilaralis, remains as the most serious defoliator, followed by various other morph defolators, which include Disetria quadricaudata, which is from the family Uranidae, as shown on the screen here. Other pests include the stem borer of the genus Endoclita. And for Binuang or Octomelis sumatrana, which is also quite widely planted in Sabah, and the Binuang skeletonizer is a serious leaf miner, as shown on the screen here, from the species Aetita diminutiva. And the armyworm Spotoptera litura is one of the major pests in the nursery. Much research has been conducted on rubber, hence some 145 species of insect pests were documented. These include the larva of the white cockchafer, which attack the roots of rubber. Other pests include the pinhole borers, which attack the stem of unhealthy trees, and the subterranean termites also cause much damage to rubber. For Tectona grandis or tick, 20 species were documented, and the selected major insect pests include the tick skeletonizer, Paliga damascestalis, the tick defoliator Hyblopura, and the tick stem borer Xylotus ceramica, as shown on the screen. For the broadleaf mahogany, Switena macrophylla, the mahogany shoot borer Hypsiphylla robusta remains as the main pest in the mahogany establishment in Sabah and as well as in other parts of Malaysia. For the Nigerian mahogany or Kaya avorensis, the bark borer Cossus chloratus has been the major pest attacking the bark of the tree. While for Senengal mahogany or Kaya senengalensis, Strabloid helpsy is the main defoliator, which can completely defoliate the whole tree. It's a Lasiocambidate moth. Apparently, this moth is endemic to Borneo. On eucalyptus, focusing on Pelita, Diglupta, and Grandis, the selected major insect pests include the arboreal spiky mass termites, as shown here on the screen. Of the genus Microcerotermes, the gold dust beetle also caused damage to the foliage. And I was also informed that the corset moth stem borer, Zeusera, likely to be Zeusera, also causing damage to some of the young trees in Peninsular Malaysia. The eucalyptus gorewort, Leptosidae invasa, was recorded in Sabah. Hence, it is a potential pest species. Now, red laran or Leolamakia macrophylla is gaining popularity in Sabah as well as other parts of Malaysia. The tussock moth caterpillar, Cletrogena tubata, is among the serious defoliators in the nursery, while the social caterpillar Metanastra gemella has caused considerable damage to the foliage of the trees in the field. And you can see these two species on the screen here. Terminalia copilandiae or Talisibaya is widely planted for restoration purposes. The pests include the pagoda bagworm, Pagodella hecmayuri, and also social caterpillar, Lebeda intermedia, again as shown here. On actions, on recommendations for actions to be taken, I believe that it is very important to have regular pest monitoring, especially the first 5 years, to prevent potential outbreak. And in many incidents, chemical control is commonly used and effective, but the usage is subject to forest plantations under certification. And some pests, such as bagworms, can be removed manually in the nursery, and biological control using predatory or parasitic insects is very much being encouraged in the field. So in conclusion, research on pests and diseases should be incorporated in plantation forestry establishment and management, as it is important to know the pest species and the ecology. And of course, as stressed by other speakers as well, integrated pest management should be practiced in forest plantations. And these are some of the references for the this brief presentation. Here, I would like to highlight two publications, recent publications, the host pest list, and also the insect pest in Sabah, which was written in Malay. And for the second book, if you wish to get hold of the book, it's on ResearchGate with the link shown here, or the QR code as shown here. And with that, I would like to thank IUFRO and FEBI, and also to Dr. Sri Rahayu and all involved in this, in organizing this webinar. Also, thanks to my colleague as shown on the screen here. With that, thank you very much, and I hand over this time to Dr. Farid Ahmad. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Yep.
First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee for invitation, so I can present some of findings for my research. Okay, so the topic is going to be forest plantation diseases in Malaysia and update. Actually, as mentioned by the author, I'm going to talk about disease only because it has covered the pest part. Okay, this presentation actually is work from myself and also my colleague Ahmad Shazwan from Sudan. Okay, now I'm going to give some very brief introduction on forest plantation in Malaysia. In 2019, we have approximately 870,000 hectares of forest plantation in Malaysia, of which 120,000 hectares in Peninsular Malaysia, 300,000 hectares in Sabah, and 450,000 hectares in Sarawak. Okay, actually in Peninsular Malaysia, most of the plantation are planted with rubber trees. Is around 18,000 hectares, and 14,000 hectares were planted with other forest species such as Azadirachta alsassa, Tectona grandis, Aqualaria species, and many more. For Sabah and Sarawak, the majority of the plantation are planted with Akasamija. However, they also plant other forest species such as Falcateria molocana, eucalyptus species, and Neolamakia kadamba. Okay, these are the forest species that was listed by Forestry Department Peninsular Malaysia and also Malaysian Timber Industry Board to be planted in large scale. We have Akasamija, Kaya, either Kaya senegalensis or Kaya ivorensis, Azarata excelsa, this is indigenous species, Tetana grandis, Hevia brasiliensis, Falcataria mollicana, Eucalyptus, Neolamakia cadamba, Optomelus sumatrana. So far we have, if I'm not mistaken, here is 11 species, but they're going to add more in future into this program. Okay, actually, Akasamija is a major forest plantation in this country. We have around 300,000 hectares, and the largest Akasamija actually is in Sarawak, consists around 280,000 hectares. Hevia brasiliensis, actually we plant for latex, but we also harvest the wood. We also harvest the wood during replanting to feed wood mill. Eucalyptus, actually, this is newly recommended species to be planted for large scale because we have very big problem with Spheria disease on Akasamija. This species also gain much interest by forest manager and recently have been considered as future species for forest plantation. Okay, pests and disease. Actually, this is a major threat of forest plantation worldwide, including Malaysia. It causes failure to achieve targeted hectareage of forest plantation establishment. So in this presentation, I would like to give some update on diseases of forest plantation. And this information actually is based on survey that we have conducted since 2019 until present and other resources also. Okay, the survey we have conducted actually on 5 tree species, Akasamija, Eucalyptus, Hevia brasiliensis, Neolamakia cadamba, and also Falcataria mollicana. I will highlight some diseases that has potential to cause serious disruption to the forest plantation only. Okay, first is Akasamija. Actually, Strathocystis is a big problem, as I said before, in our Akasamija plantation. Okay, where approximately 200,000 hectares of the plantation are affected by the disease. Okay, and then this disease attack the tree through wound, especially pruning wound. Okay, during our survey, we found that trees below than 3 years old are very susceptible to disease infection compared to older plantation. And we have identified the pathogen. We name it as Strathocystis fimbriata. This one is based on morphology characteristic and also through the DNA analysis. We have a chance to send this some sample to the expert, and then they also agree with the species. Okay, table here, just want to show you the forest Akasamija plantation that we have surveyed. We have 11 here. So from the table, you can see most affected plantation actually is in Ulu Sedeli and also Marudi. This plantation are below 3 years old. Okay, and then the highest incident actually in Ulu Sedeli. If you compare with other plantations such as Lundu and Sabal, 10 and 9 years old, the infection is very low, less than 10%. So below here is some characteristic of the pathogen. We have Conidia, Chlamydospore, Heriticium, and Ascospore head shape. Okay, the bottom picture is a 2 years old Akasamija plantation in Ulu Sedeli 2. So all the trees gone due to disease infection. This is what this picture we took it after 1 year after first assessment. Okay, the second one is root disease. Actually, this is still a major problem in Akasamija plantation. It can kill more than 50% of Akasamija trees in some area. The pathogen mostly Ganoderma and also Phylinus. However, Ganoderma philippi more frequently observed to be associated with high mortality of Akasamija compared to other species. And we also found that severity of the disease is much higher in the second and subsequent rotation than the first rotation. Okay. Okay. And the third one is Goras. caused by Endorrheium digitatum, or previously known as Ethylocauda digitata. Okay, this disease we found also in Ulcidally 2-year-old Akasamija. Okay, during the survey, we found that this disease is very serious. It attacked almost all the tree, majority of the tree in the plantation. Actually, we want to do assessment to see the impact of this disease to the tree. But when we want to conduct the assessment, all the tree has gone, mainly due to Stratocystis wilt disease, because this area also heavily affected by Stratocystis wilt disease. Okay, this one is eucalyptus. Okay, so far this is very preliminary result because the survey we just conduct in this few months. Okay, the problem with eucalyptus that we found at present is stem canker. Okay, we have 5 eucalyptus plantation that we have surveyed, and we found that this disease is very serious on, very susceptible on eucalyptus hybrid compared to Eucalyptus pellita and Eucalyptus digluta. Okay, so far we don't observe any stem canker on these 2 species. And then the incidence can go up to 74%, especially on Eucalyptus hybrid between U and G. Okay, and then we suspect the pathogen is Crassipote species. Okay, this is a disease on Hevea brasiliensis, Pestalozzius leaf fall. This is the most serious disease on rubber tree. Okay, this is quite new because we just detected in Malaysia in 2017. Okay, other than Malaysia, the disease is also reported in Indonesia, Thailand, China, India, and also Sri Lanka. Most of the cloud are very susceptible to the disease. In RRIM 2001, RRIM 2025, RRIM 2023, PB 260, and PB 350. Okay, what makes this disease is very interesting because it can occur 2 to 3 times per year. It can also reduce latex production more than 50%. This one gives very big problem to the smallholders actually. Okay, however, this disease can be controlled by fungicide spraying in canopy and also on the ground. So several chemicals have been found effective against the pathogen, such as chlorothalonil, mancozeb, propionate, propiconazole, and also hexaconazole. These scientists from Rubber Research Institute also suggest planters to apply fertilizer to boost the tree growth. Okay, this is very minor disease that we found on Neolamakia cadamba, or locally known as kelempayan. We found root rot caused by rigidoporous microporous and Phalaenus noxious. So far, the incidence is very low, but it can kill the tree. During the survey, we found that only less than 5 trees got affected, have been killed by this pathogen. So this is the fruiting body of rigidoporous microporous, and this is a sign of the Phalaenus noxious present in wood. Okay, and on Falcaria molucana or batai, we have 2 diseases. First is gall rust caused by Uromyclidium temperianum, and pink disease caused by Erythricium salmonicolor. Okay, at present the incidence is also low. Okay, in conclusion, I would like to say here that all diseases that I have shown in this presentation should be given serious attention by planters, as it has the potential to seriously affect productivity of forest plantation. So we suggest that the planter should conduct regular monitoring to detect early disease symptoms and also to provide appropriate treatment before the disease is spread. We also encourage planters to screen and breed new varieties or clone that are resistant against the pathogen. Effective information sharing and capacity building should be enhanced as approach in preventing and managing disease incident in forest plantation. I think that's all my presentation today. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Farid.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there are so many pests and diseases, yeah, that occur in the tropical countries. Yeah, Dr. Carlos from Colombia. That is so many pests and diseases, and they also already have some management point. Yeah, so that is very important. And then also Dr. Abdul Ghaffar and Dr. Nurfarika Haneda, they also show that there is under climate change, yeah, so many pests and diseases also emerge, yeah, previously not so dangerous, and then after that it's become destruct the plantation. And then also Prof. Pam Kwang too, that is so many, yeah. And this is very complicated pests and diseases in Vietnam, and it will be more and more important in that. And then so we need to work together in the tropical countries in order to manage this kind of pests and diseases. And in Malaysia, that is very particular and very many insect pests, yeah, and also diseases that's also become more dangerous, yeah. That previously may be not aware about that because the incident may be just little, so now become more dangerous. So we have to hand to hand in the tropical countries in order to manage the important thing, manage the pests and diseases in our country. So may some of before closing this webinar, maybe some of you will have notes, please.
Okay. Yeah, I think the most worried situation is with the biological invasion, because the pests and diseases that we have, in some way we can manage them, but the new problems like Onycterus for us and other problems that are coming and are moving globally are a big concern for our countries, because this kind of insects are moving from the tropical, from the temperate areas to the tropical countries. They are going to find a new environment, more suitable, I think so, for development. And this is in which I am worried. And regarding with the Nur question about how we are controlling the Pineus berneri, I say that we are using some predators. We are producing some predators in lab, and then we are releasing in field with, I think, we successful because the population of Pineus is going down. And remember that Pineus berneri for us is a new insect in our country and affecting 5 different species of Pinus. And for the rest of the insects, I think the importance is mainly to understand how is the interaction from the host insect and biological control. In tropical countries, we have the suitable environment for developing parasitoids and predators. Doesn't happen in other countries, but the season are strongly than in our countries. But for us, we have a lot of humidity to use, for instance, entomopathogens for insect controls, also bacteria like Bacillus thuringiensis. And in other words, that I am trying to say is that in tropical countries, we have more temperature, more moisture, more humidity for the biological control. It's the reason because the low incidence of insect pests in our plantation is just because we are using integrated pest management with emphasis in biological control and microbial control.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. Maybe Prof. Pam Kuangtu, do you have any potential biological control that you already developed in your country? Yeah.
To control the availability fabricated polyphagous water in our country, the most potential for biocontrol, we can use Bovaria brassiana. It is the fungus to control. And the second one, we using the trapping. The potential for biocontrol in our country, we can use the Bovaria brassiana.
Bovaria brassiana. Okay, maybe because the time, thank you for all presenters and all participants. So maybe in the next time we will have a webinar, maybe in the topic on how to manage and control the pests and diseases in the tropics with special topics maybe. Okay, thank you for your presentation, and thank you Irene and also Philip for your support in this webinar, and see you in the next series of webinar.
Okay, thank you very much. It was a great pleasure to be here today with you, and nice to meet all of you. And I would like to make contact with each of you by email. Maybe we need to change our email to be in contact, in touch. And it was a great pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I would just like to share one more slide with you. This is a wrap up of our Division 7 Forest Health webinar series. We had 5 altogether. And so this is the last one for December. But on this page here, you will see that Jeremy, Alistair, and his team are setting up another series of seminars starting next year. And this is their working group party 70316. And this is actually going to be a mentoring sort of program where they are sponsoring the next webinar series, and it's taking the form of a mentoring program. So the plan is to provide funding to the best graduate student presentations from each region to attend the All Division 7 meeting in Portugal. So if you would like to participate, this is for students. They get to present at these different regions, and then the best one gets to go to Portugal for the IUFRO conference. So encourage your students to please go to the website. It's at the bottom here. It's available on the FABI pages as well, and have a look and see if your work is applicable, and encourage your students to participate, and we can then see them next year in September. Again, thank you everybody for a fabulous webinar series today. It was really fascinating, and enjoy the December and the holidays coming up.